Is freedom truly free, or is it an illusion that we've allowed ourselves to believe? That's the question we're going to explore today. Freedom is a concept that we've been taught to cherish, to fight for, even to die for. But what if our understanding of freedom is fundamentally flawed? You see, when most of us think about freedom, we picture a world without constraints, a world where we can do anything we want, whenever we want. But is that really freedom? Or is it just a different kind of bondage, a slavery to our own whims and desires? A deeper philosophical understanding of freedom paints a different picture. It suggests that true freedom isn't about doing anything you want. It's about acting in alignment with your true nature. It's about understanding who you are, what you value, what you believe in, and then acting in accordance with those truths. In other words, freedom isn't about the absence of constraints. It's about the presence of authenticity. It's about being true to yourself, even when it's difficult, even when it's unpopular. That's what freedom really means. But there's a problem. We live in a world that often discourages authenticity. We're bombarded with messages telling us who we should be, what we should value, how we should act. These messages can be so loud, so pervasive that they drown out our own inner voice. And when that happens, we lose our freedom. We become slaves to a societal script that wasn't written by us and that doesn't reflect our true nature. So, how do we reclaim our freedom? How do we learn to listen to our own inner voice, to act in alignment with our true nature, even in the face of societal pressure? That's where the 5 lost principles come into play. These principles aren't new, but they've been forgotten, pushed aside in our quest for a superficial understanding of freedom. To truly understand freedom, we must delve into 5 lost principles that can guide us towards achieving it. These principles are the key to unlocking a deeper, more authentic understanding of freedom. And they're what we're going to explore in the rest of this video. Principle 1. Self-awareness. The key to unlocking true freedom. In our journey towards freedom, self-awareness stands as the first and perhaps most critical principle. But what is self-awareness, you may wonder? It is the conscious knowledge of one's character, desires, fears, and limitations. It is the ability to look inward, to understand the depths of our being, and to acknowledge our strengths as well as our weaknesses. It's like being the captain of a ship sailing through the vast sea of life. Without self-awareness, we are like a ship without a compass, tossed around by the waves of external influences and circumstances, often unaware of where we're headed. But with self-awareness, we can navigate through the storm, steer clear of the rocks, and chart our course towards our true north. By becoming self-aware, we begin to understand our desires, not those imposed by society or those around us, but our genuine, deep-seated desires. We learn to recognize our fears, not to be paralyzed by them, but to confront them and move beyond. We come to terms with our limitations not as constraints, but as areas for growth and improvement. So how does self-awareness lead to freedom? Simply put, it empowers us to make choices that align with our true selves. It liberates us from the shackles of societal expectations and lets us live authentically. Only by knowing ourselves can we begin to taste true freedom. True. Principle 2. Responsibility. The bridge between choice and consequence. Responsibility is the cornerstone of freedom. It's the understanding that every choice we make sets off a ripple effect, creating consequences that may reach far beyond our immediate perception. When we decide to take responsibility for these choices, we seize the reins of our lives, steering ourselves towards our desired destination. Imagine a world where everyone took responsibility for their actions, a world where blame is a thing of the past, where everyone owns up to their mistakes, and instead of pointing fingers, we extend hands in understanding and growth. This is a world not of victims, but of creators, of individuals who understand that they are the architects of their own destiny. Taking responsibility liberates us from the crippling victim mentality. It frees us from the shackles of blame and regret, allowing us to move forward with purpose. When we take responsibility, we acknowledge our power to shape our world, to mold our reality according to our desires. We no longer see ourselves as mere pawns tossed about by the whims of fate, but as kings and queens, ruling over the kingdom of our existence. But remember, responsibility is not a burden to be shouldered grudgingly. It's an opportunity, a chance to learn, to grow, to become better versions of ourselves. It's the key that unlocks the door to true freedom. Freedom comes with responsibility, and responsibility paves the way to freedom. Scene script. Principle 3. Acceptance, the path to peace and freedom. Acceptance is a principle that is often misunderstood. It does not mean passive resignation or admitting defeat. Rather, it's about embracing the reality of our circumstances, including our limitations and imperfections. It's about acknowledging that we are not omnipotent beings, but humans who have limits and make mistakes. Acceptance is the key that unlocks the door of denial and resistance, the two major roadblocks on the path to freedom. When we resist reality, we trap ourselves in a prison of our own making, a prison built with the bricks of shoulds and shouldn'ts, coulds and couldn'ts. However, when we accept things as they are, we break free from this self-imposed confinement. We stop spending our mental energy on futile attempts to change what's beyond our control. Instead, we focus on what we can influence and change. To accept is to take a courageous step towards freedom. It means facing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. It means acknowledging our feelings, our mistakes, our failures, and our victories. It's about being honest with ourselves and the world around us. Acceptance is not about giving up or settling for less. It's about acknowledging reality and working within it to create a better future. It's about embracing the world as it is, in order to transform it into what it could be. Acceptance is not resignation, but a courageous step towards freedom. Scene script. Principle 4, courage, the fuel that drives us towards freedom. When we speak of courage, we're not talking about sheer bravado or reckless dauntlessness. No, the courage we speak of is a more nuanced, more meaningful kind. It is the quiet yet resolute determination to act despite the gnawing presence of fear, to step forward when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. As we sail through life's tumultuous seas, courage serves as our compass, directing us towards the beacon of freedom. It is the audacious spirit that dares us to confront our fears, to challenge our limitations, and to venture into the unknown. It nudges us to question, to probe, to seek truths that may be uncomfortable but necessary for our growth. Courage is about embracing vulnerability, about having the guts to say, "I don't know," or "I was wrong." It's about standing up for what we believe in, even when it's unpopular, even when it's difficult. This is the courage that liberates us from the clutches of complacency and propels us towards authentic freedom. Without courage, we become prisoners of our own apprehensions, trapped in a comfort zone that stifles growth and stifles freedom. Courage, then, is our key to unlocking the chains that bind us to fear and mediocrity. So let us cultivate this courage. Let us dare to dream, dare to struggle, and dare to be free. With courage, we free ourselves from the shackles of fear and step into the realm of freedom. Scene script. Principle 5. Integrity, the compass that guides us to true freedom. Integrity is the beacon of light that illuminates our path towards freedom. It's the unwavering commitment to our values, the adherence to our principles, and the alignment of our thoughts, words, and actions. Integrity is the cornerstone of our character, the root of our moral compass, and the ultimate test of our authenticity. Imagine a tree standing tall and strong. Its roots are deeply grounded, its branches reaching out to the sky. This tree symbolizes us, and the core of this tree, its heartwood, represents our integrity. Just as the heartwood gives the tree its strength and resilience, our integrity provides us with the courage and grit to face life's challenges, to stand up for what we believe in, and to remain true to ourselves. Living with integrity is not always the easiest path. It often means choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It means standing alone when everyone else is going in the opposite direction. It means saying no when it's easier to say yes. But when we live with integrity, we experience a sense of inner freedom that is profound and liberating. We become free from the shackles of societal expectations and free from the constraints of our own self-doubt. We find peace in knowing that we are living in alignment with our deepest values and principles. And when our actions mirror our beliefs, we experience true freedom. Integrity is the true north on our compass to freedom. These 5 principles, self-awareness, responsibility, acceptance, courage, and integrity, are the keys to unlocking true freedom. Each principle, a stepping stone leading us towards the liberation of self. Self-awareness illuminates our path, responsibility carries us forward, acceptance clears the obstacles, courage emboldens us, and integrity ensures we walk the path rightly. Within them lies the essence of true freedom, far more profound than mere physical liberty. Freedom is not a destination but a journey, and like any journey, it begins with a single step.